So 5 years ago, over 260 months ago, 1,825 days ago, and one vision we had.
Welcome to our first ever all hands meeting at Roma Moulding. This meeting came about because of all of you. We want to improve communication to all of you, and that's our commitment.
This 1 hour is very important to us. I want everybody to get really that we closed our company down for 1 hour right now. This is our 8th all hands meeting ever. It's really incredible how far we've come. Holy smokes, this is our 10th all hands meeting. All hands meeting 18, folks. All hands meeting 20 is a culmination of your hard work, your dedication, your determination. With one vision, that we wanted people to come to work and actually be happy. Our culture is so important to us here at Roma, and we constantly talk about fulfilling our culture. How do we make it intentional? How do we grow the culture here at our company?
One of the things that we want to touch upon is company culture.
Culture is what defines us as a company, not our moldings. What is the whole mission? Like, why are we all here? This was our culture. It was a culture of stress and a lot of work, and I want to build Canada's happiest culture, North America's happiest culture. We can change the world. We can focus on happiness. But I came back and I said, how do we create a company where we blur the lines between work and play? That you're doing some of the best work of your life, but you forget you're actually working and yet doing something out of passion. So the project is called Open, Fun, and Happy. Lo and behold, with some patience, we have a beautiful new clubhouse.
9 out of 10 of us truly believe that this is a great place to work.
10 years ago, we created that vision. We didn't know how to fulfill on it, but we made that commitment. Today, our core values not only are still with us, but they guide everything we do. So the theme was we are, like who we are, but not who we are as a company, but who we are as an industry. Your will to win, your will to challenge the status quo. You guys are why I wake up every day. You guys make me proud every day. To challenge what other people would say is unachievable. That it is National Custom Framing Day. Welcome to season 2, folks, of Tuesday Talks with Tony. And let this be a tribute to everybody out there who believes, something's impossible. Nothing's impossible when you bring together great people. And you're the reason why we have 20 all hands meetings. You're the reason why we have 30 years experience in people working at our company.
Joanne's been with Roma since 1992.
I am so grateful to Roma. It changed my life.
You're the reason why we designed beautiful molding. 17 amazing new products, the best collection year to date. This, folks, is our new Roma Moulding experience. You're the reason why we answer calls the way we answer them. And let this be a tribute to the people watching, that Roma is strong, stronger than ever, stronger to make a difference and shine a light on anybody that feels down. That's who we stand for. And our newest brand is called Roma Wish. We want to do mission work, but unfortunately we're unable to do it due to COVID-19 restrictions. And so we created Roma Merch. And we just called it Roma Day. And it's our mission for 2023, because this is certainly the best damn company in the industry. This is certainly the company that challenges the status quo. And this is certainly the company that moves, inspires, and wows the world. All hands meeting 22, 28, 30, folks. 37 is on, and it's live. 38, folks. All hands meeting 39. 1, 2, 3. Roma! Have a great show. Have a great show. So this morning, on the eve of, or on the morning of All Hands Meeting 40, I do what I normally do. I wake up at 6 a.m. I either head to the gym or I work out at home. And so I put in a great workout this morning. But on the morning of an All Hands meeting, there's a different type of energy. There's certainly nerves pumping through me. Although I've done 39 of these. Many keynotes later, presentations, there's still this level of anxiety to a certain degree, but met with this compassion and met with this determination to stand up on this stage and really talk about our company. And so as I was contemplating, and after the workout, you get a good pump. And this morning I did buys. That's why I'm hiding them today, but that's a joke. But after the workout, typically what I do, I go into a stretch. And I like to lay down when I stretch. And I lay down, and I kind of close my eyes and really focus on the part of the muscle that I'm trying to stretch out so that I don't get, any injuries. It's just a good practice that I've done, and perhaps many of you have done. And so I was doing that, and then the mind starts going, right? My mind starts going, man, it's all hands meeting morning. There's a lot at stake on this one. It's a different format. Will the team get it? So all these things come in. And then, folks, I'm flooded. Like, just picture a flood. A flood of emotion comes over me upon gratitude, right? This feeling of just, I want to get the right word, appreciation, right? Appreciation for, my life, for living. Like, appreciation that I have 2 feet and 2 hands, and like I'm relatively healthy, and I'm in North America, and then it goes on to like I got a good family, I got great kids, and not perfect, but I got a great team at work, many of them, and the overwhelming many are my friends. Then it goes into like everything we've done like flashed right in front of me. So from that first photo of all hands meeting, one, painful, to being on this stage today, and that's really what I want to set the context for today. And it's going to be an incredible next hour and a half, I hope. And I hope that you feel it, because you've been a big part of it. And so this all hands meeting is really a tribute to all of you. And we're gonna go through some highs in this all hands meeting. Hopefully we'll go through some lows, and then we're gonna catapult into what's next. And I know a lot of our friends are watching. I know a lot of my family are watching. I know a lot of our suppliers are watching. Our USDCs are watching. Our BPSs across the nation are watching. All of you are here, about 50 strong in the audience. Thank you for being here. And so I'm flooded with this emotion, right? And then it got me thinking all hands meeting 40. And even as I was planning this all hands meeting, I said, how do we commemorate 40? It's a pretty big milestone. From you saw number 1 to where we are today, I think it's a pretty big milestone. And then I got thinking of the signification, the symbolism of 40. And I don't know if you're all into symbolism, but certainly I am. And I think 40 in my life represents something. And then I got thinking of 40, what does 40 mean? Did some research. And while we were creating this deck, I wanted to share a few interesting symbolism of 40. So first off, in biblical scripture, 40 signifies new life. Pretty cool. And there's many different passages where it talks about whether it's 40 days or 40 nights or 40 years, signifies new growth, a restart, a pledge into the future, rebirth. As many of you women know, it takes 9 months to give birth to a beautiful miracle, but it also takes 40 weeks. It's 40 weeks. And men, you probably are keeping count of those 40 weeks as Ross? Not Ross. Because, and it's tough. Listen, I empathize with women. My wife went through, hell and back. We had challenges having children. So those 40 weeks, her highs and lows, I was right with her. It was tough, but it's 40 weeks to bring forth a miracle, a child into this world. Whether you know this or not, fun fact, there's this product that we all use. And it was only over 40 trials that it was created, and they call it WD-40. Anybody use WD-40? Yeah. Now, I don't know the validity of WD-40. Is it just a cool marketing story? Because it would have been weird calling it WD-31. I think that'd be weird. But we know it today as WD-40. Whether you know this or not, the Bible was written by 40 men. Interesting. In biblical scripture, Jesus was tempted in the desert for 40 days by the devil. Noah and the great flood was for 40 days and 40 nights. And the Israelites, after being freed from bondage over the Egyptians, wandered the desert for 40 years before they crossed into the promised land, which is today Israel. And something to note, and I'm not sure many of you know this about me, but I was Catholic by birth, but I was baptized as an adult Christian at 40 years old. It just, the symbolism, it's not like I waited for 40, that's when God called me, and I was called. And so I got water baptized as an adult at 40. And 40 years ago, my father and his two business partners started Roma. 40 years ago. It's a long time. Just think of 4 decades. And as many of you know, within our company, core value number 7 is, let's hear if you guys know it, be humble. Thank you, whoever said that. Core value number 7 is be humble. And this is the exact photo that sits on my desk as a constant reminder of how far we've come. You know, when I have trials and tribulations, I look at that photo and say, you know, I got to get out of my pity party pretty quick, because these guys had what otherwise was a traveling road show. By the way, they did trade shows every month. I complain about them once a year. But my father and his two brother-in-laws, Nino, my uncles, Nino and Tony, it was 3 of them. There's 2 in the photo, and you could probably pick out who my father is and Nino. They would travel every month and put up a trade show. So they'd go to like Hamilton, I think it was Burlington, it was Toronto, it was Ottawa, Montreal, and various parts of Canada. And they would drive there with what otherwise looks like a science fair project. They'd put it up, and they'd get their most spiffy clothes on and go to town, right? And I'm just constantly enamored by their will, by their determination, because what they were, while they're smiling here, I always say to my wife, don't mistake my smile to mean everything is good. I intentionally walk through that door. I get clear, like I'm intentional in the car. Before I go in my house to greet my wife and kids, I actually go through this clearing exercise where I actually try to leave everything that happened in the day, good or bad, in that car, and then I say a few words to become intentional about moving forward. So I tell her, please don't mistake the smile for everything's perfect, but I choose to walk in as perfect I could be for you and the kids. And I think that's what John and Nino did as their first trade show in 1984. And so to commemorate, and it's getting a little hot up here, to commemorate 1984, let me see, Ross, thank you. So if you haven't guessed already, to commemorate 1984 and the birth of this company, we've created some new swag, which I think you're going to love. And there's more to come on that. But I love this photo for so many reasons. And so this past week, as I was creating this for the deck, I sat with my dad, and I said, when you guys were at those trade shows, like, how was it? He goes, you know, Tony, we showed up our best. We put the best foot forward. We always wanted to be the best. And his quote to me was, my dream, and I'm quoting, my dream was for Roma to be the best in the industry, not necessarily the biggest. It was 40 years ago in September. And he said, well, we were going to these trade shows. There were companies 100 times our size, well overfunded than us. We rubbed 2 pennies together from our mortgage that we took out some money out of our mortgage, over leveraged on our mortgage because we believed. And it's easy to say now, but there were a lot of sleepless nights. But as you recall in the photo, there were smiles, right? He had to show up his best in order to achieve what he otherwise wanted to achieve as a dream, right? And so I asked my dad, but what the heck made you do it? He said, I had a dream and I had faith that I could do it. And I'm like, okay, that sounds good. So then a lot of things are going through my head, right? And so I'm thinking about all my dreams, all my aspirations, what I want in my life. And then I try to instill, to have my kids dream big. Like, what do you want to achieve in your life? Because, left to their own devices, the world is a really rough place today. It is not inspiring at all. You have to look for the inspiration. There's pieces, but the overwhelm, you turn the TV on, and it's not an easy place to be. So I want to let you in on a secret of mine. Some of you know it, some of you don't. So I hope you enjoy this. So I call it living my best life. And I don't know when this happened in my life, but it happened. So I lived my life backwards, and I call it living my best life. By the way, super intentional on how I live my life. I try to not let anything just haphazardly happen. Now, life happens, right? I could leave here, get in a car accident, life's over. Like, it could happen. And now everybody's knocking on wood and stuff. But the reality is it could happen. So living my best life, what do? So here's what I do. I take the average lifespan, which is 80, the average lifespan of a white adult male in North America. I minus the time I've been on the planet, which is about 46 years next month, and time left. It's a pretty easy equation. Now, for the young ones, like Sasha in the room, she's like, I got tons of time. For this side of the room, kidding, a little different. But what does 34 really look like? So 34, and I bring this up at every event, and my family's like, oh, here he goes. So 34 years, actually, I look at it not so much in years, but I look at it in summers. Like I have 34 summers left. That's it. It's not infinite. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to give you a big fact. So for the fact checkers on the internet and on Facebook, whether you know this or not, everybody in this room is going to die at some point. Anybody want to challenge that? No? Okay, cool. And many of us don't think about it, and that's okay, right? I'm not here to judge. But if you do, and I want to share with you, you could unlock some, like the potential you have in you that will like shock you. And I say this because I asked my father, I said, like, how big did you want to be? Because you're like, I want to be the best. What does the best mean? It's arbitrary, right? He's like, Tony, what I wanted maximum 10 employees. 10 employees, I'll hang it up, we'll celebrate, and we'll chug along. That's all I wanted. I mean, how many times do we sell ourselves short on our dreams, right? How many? And I think the very essence of why we're able to do these sorts of things is because someone somewhere dreamed of a live stream event, of lights, of TVs, of stages, of like everything you see around you is created by people no different than you. So back to 34 years, which is 34 summers. Here's where it gets really fun. I have 400 months left, around 408 months left. I have about 1,632 weekends left. I also have about 12,000 days left, and you might think that's a lot. And this one's cool, about 300,000 hours. That one's fun, because every hour it's like one less, one less, one less. And so if that's not inspiring enough for you or motivating enough for you, and if you're not squirming enough in your seat at this moment, I created something I've been wanting to create for a very, very long time. Do you guys want to see it? Yeah, all right, great. So I call it Living My Best Life Chart, right? So what I did was I put every line represents a year in my life, and I put it down to 85, because some people are squirmy with 80. It's just a thing. So I put 85 years and 52 up top. So you then pencil in how many years you've completed. That's how mine looks. So why I like this, right? So there's others who do it, and they're like, my 4K 4,000 weeks, or I'm like living my best life. Why? Because I look at this and this gives me motivation. We got to get shit done now. We got to book that trip now. We got to work our butt off now. We got to send that parcel out now. And this is barring everything goes perfect. Like everything, like that you're not in a plane crash, or like, your feet get chopped off because something happened. And Sasha, I know it's a bit squirmy, but who knows, right? We just witnessed what happened with COVID, right? COVID was a beautiful motivator. I mean, it was horrible for so many reasons. But what I got present to is people would say, the world will never shut down. Oh, yeah? I think we witnessed that. And so if this is not good enough, what I did was I included the youngest person in our company. I'm not going to say their name, but they're 20 years old. Our youngest person in the company is 20 years old. That's how their chart looks. And then I've added another chart on this side. And if you've guessed it, I thought I heard someone say it. This is Michael Pilata's chart. Where's Mike? Where is he? Oh, there you are. And I personally have them for you. It's in the art shop. We'll print it. I'll sign it for you. All kidding aside. But didn't he look great in that photo? Like, what was that, 13 years ago? He still looks good. I'm just kidding him. So depending on where you are in this scale. So I'm thinking about having these printed. If anybody wants one, not mine, obviously. They're going to be empty. If you want one, I'll personally make it for you. I'll put it in a roll for you, and I'll have it. Because genuinely, I want you living your best life. This is not to scare you. It's to inspire you. It's truly meant to inspire you. And so this year, what I took on with my family, I printed out, they think I'm nuts. I printed out calendars. So what did I do? April, May, June, July, and August. Because summer in Canada is about 12 weeks, maybe, if you're lucky. And so what I did was I purposely walked into the future of April, May, June, July, and August. Now, I put in what I want to accomplish. Like if it's, if I have to travel, if I have a mastermind event, a keynote, a vacation, some time off, time to maybe white space where I really want to kill it and go deep, maybe my one-on-one. So my schedule is booked. There's obviously, gaps. So then I got on the phone and called my family and said, hey, listen, you know how we did that thing at the beach last year? Yeah, I've looked at my calendar. I've given you a few dates. And they're like, for when? Well, July. They said it's February. I said, no, but if we don't do this call today, it won't, what? Happen. And how many of our dreams don't happen? And the answer to that is a lot. A lot. Like you guys are full of potential. We're all full of potential. God created us perfect. Perfect in every way. Each uniquely different. All 9 billion of us, or 8 billion of us, all uniquely loaded with gifts to make this world a better place. So, my question is, what's holding you back from your dreams? Like I want you in that space. Here's what I want you to do. Turn to your partner and say out loud, what's holding you back from your dreams? Go. A little louder, like you intend to say it. Exactly. Like what's holding you back? Yeah, it's what's holding you back from your dreams. It's a great inquiry, right? Next time you're at the dinner table, you take your family out, ask them, what's your dream? What's one dream? Like, what are you talking about? Let's talk about the Maple Leafs or something. I don't know. Let's numb out. Let's talk about, let's get real. That's how, if you can imagine, that's how our conversations go. But they don't always go good. But hey, that's just how the cookie crumbles, right? So what's holding us back from our dreams? And this is where I want to change things up. I'm going to use a whiteboard. So if anybody knows me, I love whiteboards. Where's my whiteboard marker? Right here. Here we go. So in order for this to work, obviously the people who are live streaming, you could scream at the screen and we might hear you. But if you're in the room, I want you to answer this question. What do you think holds us back from our dreams? Insecurity? Fear? Laziness. Ooh, self-doubt. What else? Hold on 1 second. Say that again. Help others. What did you say, Dina? What about other people? Yeah. So judgment. Interesting. Or better yet said, maybe the fear of looking bad? Yes? So at the root, thank you very much, guys. You did amazing. So at the root of it all is one thing. At the root of all that, what do you think it is? Fear. This 4-letter word, fear. Little word, one of the smallest words. And what I heard was, and I want to unpack this today. What I heard was, there was the fear of failing. How many people want to do something, but they're scared they're going to fail? Thank you. Thanks for being honest. Yeah. How many people know somebody who has these great dreams and ambitions, put up your hand, that knows somebody that is paralyzed by fear? Anybody? Yeah. Fear of failing. We went skating the other day, and we saw someone from our church. They're a bit older than us, and actually he's in his 60s, and Sienna was all over them, my little one, and he was a little wobbly, right, on the ice, but you know what, and he was just about to get on, and he's like, hey, Sienna, I'm just learning. I took skating lessons at 60 plus, and he had this helmet, and he had his, right, and we might laugh, right, but I admire someone like that at 60 years old to strap on a helmet, elbow pads, and be shaky. I applaud that person. How many people want to learn? My mother doesn't know how to ride a bike. She's going to kill me, but I don't care. Do you know how many people around the world don't know how to ride a bike in fear they're going to fall and hurt themselves? Fear of failing? Do you know how many people in this room have some of the best ideas for our company's success, but they're scared it's just might not work? So second thing you folks said, which I love, was the lack of, who wants to finish this? Self-confidence. What does that look like, right? The lack of self-confidence. I have this dream, I want to do this thing, I want to climb this mountain, I want to learn how to ride a bike, I want to learn how to chop on the saw, I want to learn how to join molding. But what do you think goes in their head? Just blur it out. How does that show up in your life? What if I mess up? I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough is paralyzing. Says who? Says who? We can't hold all hands meetings because, why? Says who? And self-doubt is paralyzing. That's the next step, right? And then the last one that I heard was, I think, Sasha, you helped me on this one. It was the procrastination and lack of motivation. Now, another way said, it's where do I start? I want to climb this mountain. Where do I start? I want to learn how to skate. Where do I start? Do I have to call the skating arena? But I'm going to look stupid. And then I'm scared I'm going to fail. And then the kids are going to look at me, and I look like an idiot. And no one's wearing a helmet. And then paralyzation. Dream dead. And this is kind of rough, right? Lack of motivation. Because I know all of you don't lack motivation. But at the center of motivation, I read this somewhere. It said, it's not so much a lack of motivation as it is a fear of failure. Because I know a lot of people who buy the gear, but they can't put the skates on. And they're usually paralyzed by these two things. So, Question number 1. How many of you have dreams and ambitions? How many of you in this audience have dreams and ambitions? Like really, work with me. Okay, good. Good, thank you. So, next question. By the way, how are you liking it so far with the questions? You guys doing really good, by the way. Turn to your partner and say, I'm doing really good. Thank you. All right. How many believe your dreams, your actual dreams that you just put your hands up, are hard? How many of you? How many believe your dreams that you want to accomplish are hard? Thank you for being honest. And then this question is really great. Who knows someone who has given up on their dreams altogether? Yeah. Thanks for being honest. That's a scary one. Now, whether it's you, or whether it's your husband, or your partner, or your kids, this one hurts me the most. Because when you give up on your dreams, life as you know it is the beginning of the end. It's the beginning. What do you have to look forward to? There's nothing. There's no aspiration. I think what kills humans, besides cancer and all the other things, is the lack of dreaming. Because as humans, we have one thing different than all other mammals. We have hope. And the dream is linked to hope. If we don't have hope and aspirations for the future, what do we have? Just being? Just sucking air? Eating? Gorging? Watching Netflix? What do we have? So here's some truths I wish I knew in my 20s, and I know you're going to wish you knew these in your 20s. Number 1, it always seems impossible until it's done. Now, we've all heard it, yes? Yes? Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible. By the way, if you want to be inspired, read his autobiography. Jailed for I don't know how many years. Comes out and does what he does in the world. Amazing. How many people would have given up the first moment they put the jail uniform on? They're just debilitated. I'm finished. Life's shit. It's over. I might as well die. Take a look at this.
This film, made in 1903, recalls the first flight of this primitive biplane making aviation history. As the two brothers prepare to attempt the first catapulted takeoff, man's age-old dream of flight becomes a reality.
So I love this quote, and this quote goes by this. I don't know who said it, but the airplane was once a stupid idea. Whoever said that was deathly wrong, obviously. I thank God the Wright brothers didn't listen, right? I love this Napoleon Hill quote. By the way, we have a lot of these books in our library, in the clubhouse, if you want to take them. Napoleon Hill, great author. Tons of books and literature, really, really smart man. He said, whatever your mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve.
I'm too weak, too slow, too big. I ate too much for breakfast. Got a headache. It's raining. My dog is sick. I can't right now. I'm not inspired. It makes me smell bad. I'm allergic to stuff. I'm fat. I'm thin. It's too hot. I'm not right. I've got shin splints, headache. I'm distracted. I'm exerting myself too much. I'd love to really, but I can't. I just can't. My favorite show is on. I got a case of the Mondays, the Tuesdays, the Wednesdays. I don't want to do this. I want to do something else. After New Year's, next week, might make a mistake. I got homework. I feel bloated. I have gas. I got a hot date. My coach hates me. Mom won't let me. I bruise easily. It's too dark. It's too cold. My blister hurts. This is dangerous. Sorry, I don't have a bike. I didn't get enough sleep. My tummy hurts. It's not in my jeans. I don't want to look all tired out. I need a better coach. I don't like getting tackled. I have a stomach ache. I'm not the athletic type. I want to get sweaty. I have better things to do. I don't want to slow you down. I have to do this. As soon as I get a promotion, I think I'll sit this one out. And my feet hurt.
I don't think I need to say anything more there. Yeah, because if you put it in your mind that you can't achieve it with the 27,000 excuses that we all give ourselves. By the way, I want to premise, we all have them, including me. But it only takes one kind of beacon, one spark to start the fire. And if we could catch ourselves in the, it's too cold, it's too hot, I'm tired, she said this, he did this, we did this, it's snowing, it's raining, it's cloudy. If if we could catch ourselves, imagine what we could do. And lastly, I love this quote. Believe you can and you're halfway there. By Roosevelt. Take a look at this.
Not funny. Hey, what up? Me Junior. Fire off, English. Watch it. Okay. What up?
And so love that video. Just love it for a billion reasons. But it's incredible. This is one of my favorite videos ever because the difference from stumbling 20 times, number one, she didn't give up. Little beast, she didn't give up. And for whatever reason, because she's probably, I don't know, 4 years old, would you say? Some 3, 4 years old. She didn't give up, and her dad is like, or that, you know, it could be her teacher. I think it's her dad, as the way she's embracing him. The minute he went there and kissed her, showed love and affection, and then, which I do to my daughter, I give, okay, sweetheart, I always tell my daughter, I say, anytime we go somewhere or I drop her off to school, I say, hey, she turns around, remember, I know Dad, be a leader. And I touch her bum, and she's like, Dad, you can't touch my bum anymore. I'm getting a little old for that. But at least she's not saying, Dad, really be a leader. But it's amazing what happened when the father came and he proved to her, like, you can do this. Just a little encouragement. Just a little encouragement. Amazing things happen when you give a little encouragement. So the question here is, what's stopping you from achieving your dreams, your goals, your aspirations? What's stopping you from taking that one step? We've identified it's fear. A 4-letter word. It's not a big word. And we've identified there's 3 areas. Because, by the way, knowing what fear is, you can say it's fear. Yeah, but what about fear? Let's peel it back. It's the fear of failing. I'm scared I'm going to look stupid. Just scared I'm going to look stupid. Like, I don't think I can do it. I'm going to fail. Next would be the lack of self-confidence. I'm not good enough. That's a poisonous conversation. Catch yourself in your head. By the way, when I run Spartan races or any races, or when I'm on this stage or at a keynote or defying the odds of anything, even something as beautiful as we're going to eradicate faxes and everybody's against you, there's something in you that you have to believe. And you got to catch yourself. You got to catch yourself. Because what goes in is self-doubt. Man, is everybody else right and I'm wrong? Man, I don't know if I'm good enough. I don't know if I'm a professional speaker enough. I don't know if I'm a CEO enough. I don't know if I'm a good dad. I don't know if I could join the frame. I don't know if I could answer those calls. I don't know. And then the last one is the procrastination, lack of motivation, which I call, what's the next step? What's one step? Because all people need is one step. Many people, when they want to learn, if you ask my mom, what do you think the first step in riding a bike is? What do you think her answer is? I don't know. It's that one step. So, and at the center of all that poison is where the fear is. That's where the heart of the fear is. And so, fear can either mean, and I want to get rid of this for a second, so I don't fall. So fear can either mean, these are the acronyms I want you to see. Fear can either mean forget everything and get the heck out of here. So this is a great video on that. Take a look. Can we get some more volume?
น้ำลึกมากทุกคนกลับมายืนสิกลับมาถึงยังเอากลับมายืนกับน้ำแค่เนี้ยกูเบื่อ
So, can anybody make out the language? Vietnam? Okay, great. Because I knew it was that part of the world. I just wanted to figure it out. Cute kid. I'm not trying to call him out, but that kid represents all of us. That kid is all of you and me. I don't know how to. Tony, the guy, and I'm like, what are you looking at me for? I don't know. Anastasia will come to me, Tony, this happened. You're the pro. Michael will come and say, Tony, this happened. And many times they figure it out. But on the occasion, Tony, this, I'm like, you're the pro. Or in the back, how do we cut this? And I'll say, they got it. And so the moment someone came and I'm like, hey, kid's like, I'm cool. Did you notice when he got up? Nothing to see here, folks. I didn't cry. Nothing happened, right? I just think it's beautiful. Or you could look at fear as forget everything and rise. And it's when you reframe fear, when you hit fear in its face, when you combat fear, when you stand up to fear, when I can do this, and you go into this, I call it some distortion in my head, because, by the way, when I'm running Spartan races and I'm picking up an 80-pound ball of cement for whatever the heck reason, I'm bringing it down there and back, I am nasty to myself. So my head is saying, this is heavy, this is stupid, why are you doing it? Just drop it, you'll do 10 burpees and you can go. And then the other side of my brain is like, shut it. You can do this. People are looking up to you. Be the change. Inspire others. And so I put this up here. Because if you ever seen a sunrise, by the way, how many people have seen a sunrise? Yeah, right? When you go to the beach, when you're on vacation, everybody does that. Let's wake up at 5, right? And we all, and by the way, Instagram right now is flooded with who's annoyed with vacation pictures from Instagram? Yeah, right? I'm kidding, they're nice. But just like a few less than 37,000 photos of you and the kids. So, but if you ever see a sunrise, it's one of the most inspiring things in the world. And I don't know about you, but it reminds me that day in, day out, the sun will rise no matter what. No matter what. Might be behind clouds, but it still rises. And that's kind of how I look at dreams. That no matter what, we have what it takes inside of to overcome that. We're created with it. We possess it. We all do, by the way, not you or just me. We all do. And so you might be thinking right now, so why is Tony telling me I got 37 Thanksgivings left before I'm going to die? That fear is going to grip us and we're not into, self-discipline and we got to shut out the naysayers. It's because that's the theme of this all hands meeting. And I wanted to change the concept of this all hands meeting, specifically for 40. And I wanted to take this moment and invest it in all of you, including me, to remind ourselves how far we've come and the challenges together we've overcome. Because this is not a one-man or one-woman show. This is a team. We couldn't have overcome what we did if it wasn't for all of us. And so I hope by the end of this all hands meeting that you reframe fear, where you can go from fear to fearless, because that's what all hands meeting 40 is about. So welcome to all hands meeting 40. Who's excited to be here? Let me hear it. All right, so while I'd love to tell you on March 3rd, 2011, when our company was in the thick of things, in the global financial crisis, I'd love to tell you it looked like this, but it looked a lot more like this. We were in pain, so I'm bringing you back to 2011. And it was at that time where there was a fork in the road for me. And we were hemorrhaging millions of dollars. We were losing people. Recruiters wouldn't recruit for us. We had lost our way. We didn't treat people well. We treated them as a commodity, no different than a computer or a desk. And then we hoped and wished that somehow, some way, we were going to win. So it was scary. And at the heart of it, I remember one month we were down 40%. 40% down. That's close to 50 points. And obviously, we thought there was something wrong with our computer system. We made Teresa do tons of report. Like, can you validate the numbers? Because there's no way. Like, we're blaming everybody and everything else, but not. We couldn't come to grips with that we were down 40%. And so what happened is we got confused, we got perplexed, we were foggy. There was a lot of missteps. We didn't treat people well. We did a lot of the same, and we did everything wrong. And that was because fear had gripped us. Because think about when you're in fear, you're not logical. You're illogical. I'm not good enough. That's illogical. Says who? Says who? Now, there's going to be naysayers out there. We'll talk about them in a second. But that's a choice. Listen to naysayers as a choice. And the naysayers could be your parents. Many parents are naysayers. And it's not because they don't love you. It's because they have their own insecurities and fear. Because they love you. And so this is when the first moment that I got gripped with the failure of fear. With the fear of failure, sorry. Holy crap, the business that my father started is taking on water. We're sinking. People are leaving. This is bad. I'm traveling 40, 50 flights a year. We're doing tons of trade shows. We're throwing tons of stuff on the wall, hoping for things to stick, and nothing was working. So I'm like, can this really be? Can this really be? And I was gripped. I was paralyzed. And that's a metaphor of how I felt. It's a metaphor. So that's when there was a fork in the road. And I'm sharing this with you this morning because many of you who are in our company don't know how far we've come. And in order to know where we're going, you need to know how we got here. And so there was a fork in the road. And I looked at my dad and said, we got to do something different, Dad. He said, well, we're going to do more shows. We're going to do more this and more that. And my dad's one of the smartest guys I know in the world. One of the smartest. Gave me my personal PhD. And what did I do? I resourced. I called people. I'm like, dude, I need some help with the business. I took it upon myself, swallowed my shame, swallowed my guilt, swallowed my self-doubt, and I called people. By the way, it's amazing what happens when you call people genuinely for help. I don't know anybody I've ever called to say, Tony, I'm too busy. Boom. Nobody. Everybody I called. I'm like, dude, how are you dealing with the global financial crisis? What are you doing? How do I do it? And so I was in Las Vegas at the time, and I've probably been to Vegas about 50 to 60 times in my life for numerous trade shows. I've done 10-day stints in Las Vegas, like I am Las Vegas out. But we were at a trade show at the World Market Center, and there was nobody there. Zero. Relatively zero customers coming through. And you can imagine we had a 7,000 square foot showroom, and it was a ghost town. And so the leasing agent came in and said, Tony, tonight, if you'd like, I'd love to treat you to dinner with a few other industry folks. I'm like, all right, I could use a drink. And remember, I'm just self-doubt. The world's going to end. This is crap. I'm not good enough. And so I went, and I sat at a table with, I think there was 6 people, and one lady, we hit it off, and after 5 minutes, she gave me this book, and she could clearly hear I was distraught, I was in pain, I was cynical, like this world's shitty, the economy, like everything was I was not in possibility, let's put it that way. And either she wanted to shut me up or she really wanted to give me the book. I don't know which one, but she gave me this book with quintessentially changed my life. and changed my life because it reframed what was possible. Many of us don't dream because we don't even know it's possible. We don't go after our goals because we don't even know it's possible. My dad didn't even know he could have a company with 300 people. He thought 10, that's the limit of his dream. Good or bad, that was his limit. Some people's limit could have been far lower, right? Some people don't even dream. So I got this book, and it's a book about how a company delivers happiness, and it was Zappos.com. You guys know I talk about this often. They were a pillar for me. I got to meet Tony Hsieh. We had dinner, the CEO of the company. We had dinner in his condo in Vegas. And I remember this like it was yesterday. I said, listen, Tony, I want to learn about how you, like the book was great and all. I didn't believe much of the book. But I went to Zappos myself, and I saw like what was possible. I didn't even know that's possible. But then the self-doubt kicks in. Well, it's Las Vegas. They're American. They're much more open. They're you know, it's all the laws are different. People are happier in Vegas because there's more sun, the vitamin D, blah, 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 right? All this stuff goes through your head. And I remember sitting in his condo having dinner, and there was maybe 10 of us. And I said, this is what I want to do. I explained to him the dire straits of our company. The company wasn't an inspiring company. I said, we can't find great people. He said, listen, by the sounds of it, I think, here's my advice to you. I think you should shut down the company, and I think you should go next door or across the street and open it up again. Well, what do you think went through my head? How, in my right mind, am I going to go to John and say, we got to shut the company, like bring it to zero, and then the next day we're going to open up next? Like, it wasn't even possible. While it was good sound advice, it wasn't even a possibility. And then I said, okay, well, if that doesn't work, what's option 2? He said, option 2 is, I'm here to tell you it's possible. It's going to be a lot of work. It's kind of like Dumb and Dumber. You know, at the end of Dumb and Dumber, right? So you're telling me there's a chance, right? That's kind of how I felt. And thinking to myself, hard work, I can do that. I think I can do that. And so that's where the spark ignited. And so I came back, did the flight home, pumped, because that was my kind of, push. It was my pep talk. It was my kiss on the cheek. It was my proverbial, it's possible. And that's all it takes many times. He didn't give me the roadmap. This is what you do. This is how you do it. This is not what you do, blah, blah, blah. No. He just planted the seed. Planted the seed. And in that seed, he said, it's possible. That's all I needed to hear. How many of you, all you need to hear is it's possible? How many people come to you with these grandiose ideas? And even we're guilty. You're crazy. Forget about skiing and snowboarding. You're going to break your legs. We do that, right? It's intrinsic in us. Like it's just a natural. And you know why we do that? We're scared for them. So I came back, and that's when the second part kicked in, right? Because first was, oh my God, this company's going to fail. And then I came back, I'm like, yeah, I want to do this. I spoke to John. We're going to do this. And I'm like, am I good enough? Can I do this? What are people going to think? This is stupid? Is it worth it? It's a lot of hard work. Before. But I did it anyways. And one thing I learned in my resources and my friends is I got this beautiful quote from Eleanor Roosevelt. It said, you wouldn't worry so much about what others think of you if you realized how seldom they do. I'm going to say that in layman's terms. If you really get, because our self-doubt is like, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? Looking back, I don't want to look bad. I'm going to let you in on something. People don't care. They're too busy, caught up in their own life, their own marriages, their own drama, and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just the truth. Knowing that unlocks the power. And I got buddies who are on Instagram and Facebook and speakers, and they're like, you're not speaking to the camera because you don't think you're good enough. And I'm like, no, I'm just busy. And I prefer to do it this way. That's a nice way of saying I don't want to do it that way. And it's try to be a cop-out. And you guys know I have the no excuses t-shirt, right? And he's like, dude, you have a no excuses t-shirt? Like, I'm going to call your shit out because I actually care about you, and I think you have a message for the world. Whoa. That's all it is. Just little. Now, it was truth. Now, here's the other thing. People don't like the truth. Now, I learned something else. You can be a truth and be an ass, or you can be truthful with grace. But either way, it's still truthful. The grace way, I'm learning to be better. Would you guys agree? Yeah, you're getting better? Nobody? Make me feel better? I'm going to have, what is it? I'm going to have the lack of self-confidence. I'm getting better. I'm not perfect. But yeah, I realized that everybody's caught up in their own world anyways, and maybe I could be a beacon for someone else. And so then I got caught up on these Instagram kind of visual wisdom, and it talks about growth and those limiting beliefs. Like, and by the way, growth is whatever your dream is in your head. Like, what's a dream? Anybody have a dream they want to spit out? What's a dream of yours? Anastasia, what's your dream? Okay, great. What's your dream, Sasha? Anybody have a dream? Like, what's a dream you know someone has? So say louder. Yeah, beautiful. So Sasha wants to be a lash tech and wants to start her own business. Amazing. That's what those balloons are. Now, you have some limiting beliefs around that. I'm too young. Maybe, and I'm just paraphrasing, and maybe they're not true, but just for the sake of the argument, what is one limiting belief, if you don't mind working with me? Yeah. Where is it? Number one, fear of failure. It's a great dream, but I'm scared I'm going to fail. And then how am I going to get the money? And then can I support myself? And then is it stupid? And there's so much competition, and they're smarter than me, bigger than me, prettier than me, skinnier than me. Yes? Probably not all those, but my limiting belief at this time was, can I do it? Like, can I do it? Do I have what it takes? And looking back on this photo, that photo's ingrained in my head. That's March 3rd, 2011. I want you to know something. That morning was no different than this morning. That was 13 years ago. All hands meeting 1. If I tell you that I went through those emotions of fear to the point where I wanted to throw up, like I wanted to puke, literally puke. So I had the fear of failing, I don't know if this is going to work, and riddled with that. Then I had the riddle of self-doubt and self-confidence. Am I good enough? Can I have this? Does Michael believe in me, and Joey and Christine? Like, are they just going along with the motion? Or like, is this? And then I got it's stupid. This idea is stupid. You know how many people reached out to my dad privately and said, it's a stupid idea. Your customers are going to be upset that you shut the company down. It's a dumb idea. They'll roll it back in 6 months. Tony's doing this because Tony wants fame. Like, all this nastiness. Nasty. And that's probably what some people, but Sasha, she's young and she's gullible and she maybe might. Yes? Oh, she doesn't know what she's saying. She's going to try it and then she'll go back to her. Yes? I don't mean that, but that's probably what happens out there. And then people, when I'm trying to learn how to skate, they're going to think I'm stupid and I'm dumb and I shouldn't be doing this and I should have better things to do and my helmet is stupid and Tony's zipping by me and he's an ass. Like, because that's what we do. So I want you to know I felt like puking right there. Like the word, and by the way, this wasn't a live stream. It was a conference call. It was a conference. Hey, guys, and you heard it. Do you see the computer there? I think it was, and beside, and it was on one of those little pedestals we have, and then the phone, and then we were talking, and it was perfect. It was perfect. Could we have imagined? Could we have imagined how far we've come as a company? And thank God you guys believed in me. Many didn't. I'll tell you what showed up, because you guys don't know this. But I want you And I want the world to know when you're up to something big, you're going to get people punching you in the face. You're going to get it. If you don't, it's not big enough. And if you don't, then reconsider what you're doing. But let me tell you, I got ridiculed. It was horrific. And think about what you're going through. I'm trying to share parallels. So we did it. And just like this, folks, I kid you not, if you see this, this is before we removed all our offices, it's maybe 25 feet from here. 25 feet from here. We made that declaration. And so here's what showed up. So I'm like, hey guys, and I remember it was like yesterday. I said, hey guys. I came and I said, and you could watch it. It's live. It's on our YouTube. It's painful. I said, it's painful. I can't watch it. Mel has to edit it without me watching it. But I remember what I said. Still 13 years later, I said, listen, we failed you as a company. We didn't put you first. In fact, we put you last. And you know that. And that's why we're where we're at. And I remember saying, and I'm sorry. And at that point, I said, I can't make any promises here today. The only promise I will make, and it's more of a declaration, is that I want to build Canada's happiest company. In fact, one of North America's happiest companies, with people so vibrant that the ideas flow from just the aura and the essence of who they are. But I said, I'm going to need one thing. I'm going to need your help. I'm one guy. I'm not that smart. I'm going to need your help. And, well, you know the rest. But what showed up was this. We had oh my goodness, Tony. I'm so happy you woke up. I'm so happy that you said that. I'll be with you. That was like 3 people. Just want to get that straight. Then we had these guys. You know what these guys are called? Who? No, we'll get to the naysayers. These were hey Tony, that was a good speech. Who wrote that for you? It was good. That drama class in grade 9 worked out for you? But I'm watching you. You got 6 months. I'm watching you. And I'm okay with these guys. I call these guys on the fence. They're on the fence. 1 foot in, 1 foot out. I'm okay with these guys. But then these guys showed up. These are the naysayers. And that's a nice way. We have other terms for these people that we can't broadcast or YouTube's going to shut us down. Okay? But we know who they are. These are the naysayers. These are the people who otherwise show up to do one thing and one thing only, destroy dreams and ambitions. That's it. And actively work to disengage, to dismantle anything that's possible. That's it. They do nothing else. By the way, they chain themselves to the desk. I'm not going nowhere. You want me out, blah, 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 blah. Right? Well, the one thing I was told to do is if you want to win at anything, if you want to learn how to skate, if you want to learn how to, ride a bike, if you want to learn how to become sober, if you want to learn how to kick drug addiction, if you want to learn, surround yourself with the right people. And so that's what we did. That was step 1. And so step 1, I went after these guys, the naysayers. And that's why I'm so intentional on who we pick. And that's why you guys are so amazing at picking the right people. We're not perfect at it, but we're really good. And so went after them. We had, at the time, we let go of 21 people. Year 1, we had 17 lawsuits on this head. And I like to say we dealt with all of them in a nice way. But I knew that if we didn't make that call then, we wouldn't be here today. So sometimes it takes a few steps back to really fly, take the leap, call it what you want. Sometimes you need to take the step back. And so number 3, this is the number 3 part. So we got rid of those, and then we're like, now what? This is the fun part. So it's not a procrastination. It was, what do we do next? Where do we go? So now they're all gone, and everybody's like, holy shit, he fired 20 people. What do we do? Holy crap. Right? Well, here's what we did, right? So while I'd like to say all of us dream in this fashion, it's going to be this, I'm going to find a building, someone's going to give me their lashes, and then I'm going to magically buy a desk and get infrastructure and security for cyber attacks, and we're going to hire, like, it's just magic, right? Like, that's what we, by the way, I think this way too sometimes. I'm less delusional, but it still happens to me, right? I think it should look like this. But the reality is, it looks like this. Now, there's those people in the room and the energy and like it's going to be all right and don't worry, don't focus on it. No, I take the adage that prepare yourself because it won't be easy. So when you get the first punch in the face, you know how to deal with it. Who knows the Tyson quote? Everybody's got a plan until the first punch to their face. Mike Tyson, love the guy. But this is the reality. There's going to be challenges. That's why we surround ourselves with great people. There's going to be threats. That's why we surround ourselves with great people. But if we know this, isn't it better that we know this? Or should we live in delusion land so that the first boom, you're knocked out, your knees. The first time you're skiing, you fall, that's it, I'm done. Or the first skate and you flip and you look like an idiot on the ice, I'm out of here. Like, isn't it better to tell your kid you're gonna fall on the ice? Daddy's gonna be here to protect you a little bit, but your bum's gonna be hurting. We got your knee pad. Like, it's okay, sweetheart, right? And that's what I tell my daughter. It's not easy. Dance is not easy, sweetheart, and her coordination is a bit interesting. But I said, if you want to win, sweetheart, you got to practice. You got to become better. You got to try your best. Hey, give it everything you got so that you know in your head, I gave it everything I got. Not I'm going to try my best. No, give it everything you got because you can't lie to yourself. You can lie to me, but don't lie to yourself. And so here's what we did, folks. I want to take you down memory lane. We built core values. By the people, for the people was a 6-month project. We created values that we said we're going to hire and fire by. So it wasn't going to be what I think. It was going to be what collectively we think and how we should live and how people should show up here at the company. And we'll course correct and we'll coach up and we'll coach out as a result of it. So we did that. We created an amazing mission to move, inspire, and wow. That was a big deal. That took a lot of time. Then we had to explain, what does move, inspire? I remember, Lizette, you were there, and someone came to me and said, Tony, what does it mean to move, inspire, and wow? Like, how do I know I did it? Like, it was beautiful. Like, because their intention was, I want to wow somebody. They just didn't know how to do it. It was beautiful. And then we were going to blur the lines between work and play. Folks, I hated work 13 years ago. I hated my own company. I hated all the people in it. It's just the truth. And I vowed I can either be that person for the rest of my life, or I could take a different road, challenge the status quo, and be a beacon for not only myself and my kids and my family, but also to show people what's possible. And so I said, I want people to show up to work, not every day, because people have days. I tell people, by the way, you can have a day, you can't have a month. Would you agree? And by the way, I always tell people as well, Tony, I want to talk to you. No problem. What's up? And they're like, they want to throw up for like 3 weeks. I said, whoa. You got 2.5 minutes to throw up. 2.5. And I actually tell them you got a 10, what do I say? 1-3-1. It's the 1-3-1 rule. Some of you know it, some of you don't. You have one problem you can give me at a time because I'm not smart to give me 2 or 3. Give me one. Give me 3 possible solutions and give me the one you want to do. It's beautiful. Try it. It works all the time. They're like, what do you mean? I have to pick one now? Yeah, just pick one. So we did that. And we started to see things start to move. You know, we weren't at the pinnacle. We were still at the bottom. But it was so many tiny little steps. So many little steps. And I can't tell you every single one of them, but I'm sharing the monumental ones. And then we started celebrating. Because this is what we do. We take our first step on the ice, and then we don't celebrate that you took the first step. So there's no real like, okay, now what's next? And now what's next? So we started celebrating everything. We celebrated Mary's, I think this was 30 years, right there. 30 years. I told Mary after 30, we don't celebrate anymore. I'm kidding. Where's Mary? Where? Mary, we love you. So we started celebrating. Imagine every time my daughter does a rehearsal, I'm like, yeah, that was okay. No, we come with flowers. Sweetheart, that was amazing. You did great. Encouragement. We hosted tons of tours, tons. And we started being a beacon for other companies. By the way, the company next door, the company there, they're like, why do you guys have freedom on the window? Why is everybody kind of walking in happy? And so we started hosting tours for other companies. And we didn't know exactly what we were doing back then. And we celebrated, it's Michelle Anderson, I never forget this moment. We celebrated, she won it was a sales award. Did someone say it? No? Trip? She won the trip, that's right. It was a sales award, and then she won the trip. Instead of flowers, we gave her a bouquet of molding. It was a lot of fun. She flew in. It was beautiful. We had confetti cannons. They didn't go off properly. It was really fun. But look at that face. How do you think Michelle's going to feel after that? I'm going to win the race 2 years in a row. We hosted more tours. These are people that they don't walk in this way. These were probably accountants, I think these were accountants. I don't know if you know this, but we've hosted companies, multiple companies, from total different industries. We've hosted landscape companies. The biggest landscape company in Canada drove in from Windsor. We've hosted dentists. Dentists. You ever go to a dentist? No one seems happy with the dentist. We hosted numerous accounting firms. I don't know why, but accountants seem to like this. And then they don't show up. By the way, they show up in ties. We take the tie. You're not allowed to wear a tie. That's the only rule we have. But look at the smiles. Now, when I first said, hey, we're going to host tours in the company, and I remember talking to our dev team, and I said, hey, can you make something on the website that says there's 3 types of tour, the free tour, the medium tour, and then the tour you pay. But it's a full day tour. People are going to come. We're going to work with them. They could sit with me. We'll coach them. And by the way, it's $100 a person, and that $100 is going to go directly to Roma Wish. Rewind to that photo. What do you think they said to me? What do you think they said? Thank you. Right? But I didn't care because I believed it in my heart. There was nothing that was going to stop. They say the hardest thing to stop is the will of a man or a woman. Hardest thing is the will. When someone wants to win, it's the hardest. What else did we do? We hosted tons of all-hands meetings. I think this one was in the warehouse. By the way, I don't know if you know this, but we stood in the warehouse, right? Dusty. It's so dusty. I can't breathe. It's too hot. It's too cold. It's winter. I'm freezing. Like, we heard it all. We forged on. We invested heavily in infrastructure, like in the technology of manufacturing. And I know Enzo's here, but Enzo would always tell me, well, Tony, like, I don't mind cutting the molding, but if the molding looked like this, or if we could do this, and if we could fix the quality, and we could do this. And we did over the course of the last 13 years. We've become a lot better. Our return rate is minuscule to where it was in 2011. And then something magical happens. You start to become contagious. You ever notice you want to hang around people who are bubbly and nice? Yeah, that's the part where you say yes. Yes, thank you. Okay. I could name a few people I wouldn't mind hanging out all day because their positivity is infectious. And just like, and I want to tell people, like, I want to like say, can I hug you just like for like a minute? But that's creepy, and I won't do it. But there are people in this company I just want to hug for like a minute. And just, I want to embrace them and feel like they're just, when people say it's a God gift, I think it is, that you can be so infectious. So we're infectious, and this is in Italy. Because I'm like, guys, we work together. Show people what's possible in the world. This is a small family business. They do like 35% of all our moldings. How do you think they're going to make the next molding? How do you think they're going to make the next molding? You think they'll be fired up? Or, yeah, I got to make another stupid molding. What I do doesn't count. And so they blew this up, because I'm like, blow this up. I want to remember this day. Blow this up. And then they brought the little dog in. It's just so beautiful. We did tons of product launches, tons of education, tons of wood sampling, tons of it. We hosted, by and large, I'd like to say one of the best trade show experiences ever. Because we said, if we're going to show up, let's move, inspire, and wow the heck out of them. And we did. And one year, I remember when we first had our first ever trade show, we, my dream, I'm going to have to tell you this. This just comes ad hoc. So my dream was that we were going to get to capacity and that they were going to shut the booth down. Well, I didn't really give it thought, like, who's going to come shut your booth down? What is there, a booth police, right? Because do you ever go to, like, an event and there's a lineup wrapped outside? Like, think of the producer of whoever produced that film, that he or she gets to see people, like, as a manifestation of my thought, people are coming and this team built this. Imagine. And so I'm like, yeah, we actually wrote it down. Melissa has it. We're like, one of the goals, because we had goals for the trade show. Again, we don't just show up. We show up with goals. And I'll never forget this. So as a result of the envy that was in the industry, someone in the industry called the fire department. I can't make this up. Called the fire department. These gorillas come in. Like, they come in. And they're like, who's, and I don't know if it was Tanya Santana, I don't know who it was, told, like, there's the fire police, I don't know, someone, whoa. What do they want? So I'm like, hey, what's up? We got called. There's overcapacity in your trade show booth. We have to shut down your booth. I said, what do you mean shut down the booth? No, we're not going to shut it. Whoever's in right now is in. So as one comes out, one comes in. Folks, you talk about a marketing strategy. I couldn't have dreamt that up any better than what happened. So then we became the talk of the show. Roma was at capacity. The police were, the fire department was there. And then we're taking photos. Everybody's taking photos. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Dream it, it'll happen. We also dreamed of having the best website experience online. Richard, who has the best experience online? Roma. That's right. And we're not finished. We're not finished. And then, like always, we got to keep tooling up. How are we getting better? You got to sharpen the blade. And so we host leadership conferences. I think we're on 7 or 8. We host them right here. Where our leadership team, I strongly believe everything lives or dies by great leadership. And so I got to put my money where my mouth is. We fly everybody in and we spend 3 days and we talk about how can we show up to better serve the people of our team. That's it. There's nothing else. How do we show up better? So we've done a lot of those. Tons of strategy development. Tons of step backs and tons of, we thought this would work, but it didn't. And so we're doing this. Oh, that was good. And then we course correct. You know what this is? Who's that? That's our Saturday morning customer care meetings that I always eavesdrop on. Like, you name me another company that does a Saturday morning meeting to calibrate so we have no interruptions with partners to deliver wow on a level far ever seen in this industry. Who does that? We invest in a lot of tech. Look at my dad. It's like Christmas. He's 4 years old. We just bought a new machine. I could have bought a Porsche instead, but we bought a machine. And by the way, I don't care about Porsche. I was so giddy that we got this new equipment. We got it in LA too. It's beautiful. Here's a gentleman that came in, and Teresa and Jerry and Joanna are in the back. They're all like learning. They don't want to touch it yet. But if you see them today, press the button, things flying. It's beautiful. We really doubled down on art and fulfillment. We were never in the art and fulfillment game. We put our heads together and we said, how do we become better as a team? We did hello cards, amazing hello cards, so that when someone's not there, it's still not vacant. We get to see your beautiful beacon of a face, right? And we bring people together, no different than this. We shut our company down for an hour or two. You know, we used to get like death threats because we're shutting the company. Like, don't you know my molding do this meeting on a Friday night? I'm like, yeah, that won't happen. But we bring people together. People that have had relationships for, some of them go on 18, 19, 20 years, right? And lots of flights to Atlanta, to our beautiful team in Atlanta. New Jersey, our awesome people up in Jersey. to LA, to the beautiful people in LA who, are undergoing now a transformation with Art Shop. Not easy. I'm wearing my No Excuses shirt because I'm like, guys, I know it's not easy, but we can do this. And these two beautiful women that have been with our company for a long time, let's say, just hold the fort down. Love taking photos like that. And then on top of it all, I always think we got to be giving back. Like, God's blessed us so much. How do we give back? Like, there's so much hate in the world. There's so much injustice. And we created Roma Wish. And I don't know about you. Take a look at that photo, And we're doing manual labor. We're scrubbing floors. We're digging ditches. We're painting. All the while, we're on roofs. And by the way, we're going to do Roma Wish missions again. We will. But this was beautiful. And we host all hands meetings. Why do we host all hands meetings? Oh, I don't know. Just to calibrate, to come together, to celebrate, to acknowledge, to be reminded of what's possible in the world, because the world can be a foggy, noisy, convoluted place. And so as a result of that, I have Ravi. So as a result of that, maybe Ross, if you can grab that for me, please. Thank you. As a result, we're on the brink of our 40th anniversary, and I just thought, how do we celebrate our 40th? Do we do a big party? But then how do we do parties in different cities? And could we fly it's a logistical nightmare. And so what we've created, folks, is we've created new aprons for everybody in the production team. So shortly after this meeting, everybody on our team, production, will get one. And it says, hello, my name is, so you can personalize them, and you could sign them and put your name. Because, what we have right now in the office is our hello cards, and we've been racking our brains. What can we do for production team? We don't want to leave them out. Although we have the team board, but I thought, and I looked at some of them, they looked disheveled, so we're giving everybody a free, we're equipping everybody with an apron. And Ravi didn't give me that back, so Ravi, you already have yours. So, and Ravi's a Tamil tiger, so you don't mess with Ravi. But it's a great photo, isn't it? It's a great photo. He's even wearing the Roma hat. And so here's something new I want to talk about. So we have core value cards. You guys know them. Ross, you mind bringing me the book? I know it's a lot of work, brother. Thanks. Let's give it up for Ross, folks. Thank you, Ross. Thank you. So there's this quote out there that says, be intentional on how you live because you might be inspiring people. You might not even know. Like halfway around the world, in some other country, in 5 years, someone watches this all hands meeting and says, I think I should do that for my company. Or my family business is on the brink of, collapse. Or I'm in fear. Wow, what's stopping me is self-confidence. Wow, I can overcome that. So just so you know, over the last 13 years, we've inspired so many people. And so a buddy of mine wrote a book, Never Lose an Employee Again. Isn't that a cool book? His first book is Never Lose a Customer Again. And his second book was Never Lose an Employee Again. In this book, he points out our core values. He's like, a lot of people live values, God bless, but not many people do it like Roma. They live them, they breathe them. It's right here. And there are other books that we've been in, which I think is cool. And so as a result of that, we've also inspired other companies to create core value cards. Other companies that send me their core value cards. Tony, as a result of your team, like I came to you, I saw what I saw, and oh man. And they have the 2 why you're awesome. Isn't that cool? From and the date, and it's bring passion. Cause possibility. It's because of all of you. By the way, it's not because of me. It's because of you. Because I can make the cards, put them in the nice little, and then you guys don't do anything with them. To date, me and Mo we were trying to come up with what we thought is how many cards we've delivered in 13 years, and the number and the estimate, because on every core value awareness week, I think we give out a couple thousand. Is it 2? 2? 1,500. So we've estimated over 13 years, we're about 50,000 core value cards. 50,000. Because we give them internally, we give them externally, we give them to partners. It's an incredible number. And so in my hand, I want to introduce to you our newest card. It's called I Wish You Knew. This is powerful. So at every leadership conference, and anybody that knows me, before I go on, feedback is a gift, good or bad. Oftentimes, the bad feedback is the biggest gift, because we all have blind spots, right? Like, I didn't know I did that. I didn't know. And so at the end of every conference, I host an I Wish You Knew card exercise. And it's not this pretty. It's like literally a cue card. I write, I wish you knew, and I say, finish that sentence, please, on behalf, like, to me. Tony, I wish you knew. And if you haven't seen them, they're hanging up. I framed them, good and bad, because a lot of the feedback that comes in bad is really good, right? That's how you can course correct. And you guys know we've done tons of surveys. I read every single survey. But this card is beautiful. So on the front is, and it kind of goes like this, like, this says to. So I'm going to play with Lizette. To Lizette, I wish you knew. And there's 5 different emojis. And one is like, hey, I wish you knew. It's not so happy that, you know, I wish I was, what's that I wanted to say? I wish I was considered for that role. Shit, I didn't even know you wanted the role. Or hugs and kisses. Hey, Lizette, hugs and kisses. The way you showed up in front of Wayfair, in front of X, in front of Y, or how you dealt with X, lit me up. Now, you could put your name and the date. That's up to you, or you don't have to. And then my ask is that you put this at their desk. Now, be mindful when you write this. This can either create or destroy. We're using this to create possibilities and give encouragement. Who's up for this? You guys like it? Round of applause, guys, so I know. Thank you. Okay, moving on, because I got to move on because I'm getting signaled. Moving on, I have this small infographic. It talks about all these ideas that we had, and everybody thinks you grab the bow, and on the first, boom, and you hit the success. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not that way. We failed more times than we succeeded. This all hands meeting, I've come up here multiple times and I've told you, hey, we thought we were going to do this and we misstepped. But we're going to try this again. We don't give up. Because in order to go to the victory, it's a lot of small steps, a lot of step back, a lot of step forwards. And I love this quote by Steve Jobs, you can't connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to have trust that the dots will somehow connect. And his trust for me is faith, because fear is only present in the absence of faith. And whatever your faith is, you have to believe in something bigger than you. When you make the goal bigger than you, I will guarantee you, you can't fail. So while I'd like to tell you folks, all hands meeting 40, we're at the summit, everything's great, perfect, poof, put the flag. There is no mountain, there is no flag, there is no summit. It's all journey. This whole life is a journey. Remember, I got 37 summers left. Michael has a bit less. Sasha has a bit more. Meh. But life's all journey. And this one's a great metaphor, and I hope when you get in the car, you're reminded by this. So there's a small rear view mirror. Every car has it. There's a rear view mirror and this big windshield. There's a reason for that size variation. You're supposed to only look back a couple of times, but make sure you keep your eyes on where you're going. Because that windshield, that front is what's important. The back is kind of what's history. The forward is like the mystery. And all we have is the present right now in this moment. Right now. That's all we have. So where do we go from here? This is the fun part. What do we conquer? What are our dreams? What are our ambitions? What's next? SEO. How are we going to invest in SEO? Search engine optimization. And become better online. How are we going to invest in the next generation of products? And I'll tell you something, I'm going to make this declaration. Our July launch that we're creating and is created is by and large the best launch I think I've ever created in my entire life, and is like no other molding we've ever created. So there's a lot of excitement and I'm kind of playing it up because I really believe in this. So we're going to invest in AI. How do we take otherwise menial tasks that people do every day, make the computer do it, and focus team members on delivering more move, inspire, and wow experiences? How are we getting more automated, more efficiencies, better SLAs, quicker lead times? We're going to be doing all that. We're going to be building partnerships both within and externally. We're going to forge better relationships with our partners, our customers, and one another. We're going to welcome aboard tons of people. Monday, we have 2 new people starting. I know Anastasia, she's back there, but she's going to look at, she's going to send some announcements out. I don't know about you, but there's a company in the industry about 20 minutes down the road, they just in our industry, who laid off 9 people. Laid off 9 people. And here we are hiring on 9 people. What's the difference? Isn't everything commoditized? Isn't everything just, they're all frames? There's something magical here, folks. I hope you're seeing. Something magical about when you believe in your dreams, when you show up to do your best work, and when you curate a ridiculously awesome group of people like you. We're going to do better with benefits and pay. And I want this to be on record. We're going to do better with benefits and pay for all, both in Canada and the United States. And we're going to continue to focus on our internal Net Promoter Score and our external Net Promoter Score. Anastasia's standing by after this. Please fill out the survey. It gives us feedback on how we did and how we're doing so we can become better. And we're going to do more Roma Wish missions. So this year we're going to do another Roma Day. Anastasia's going to put out all the results on what Roma Day looks like. We want, our goal was 160 last year. We hit 192. We have some fun things in store. We want to bash that ceiling open and get more people to experience what Roma Wish, that feeling of what it does. And again, we're going to do a lot of small victories. And we're going to celebrate along the way. We're going to challenge the status quo. We're going to work together. We might take a few steps back. This doesn't mean we're perfect. And we're going to take some leap forwards. Because back to this photo, it all started with one little dream. And I hope that while we're talking over the last hour and a bit, that you're maybe reconsidering your own dream. Maybe you're waking up that dream. Maybe that dream is kind of sitting in your stomach and now it's a bit ignited. And maybe now you have a bit more clarity as to what's stopping you. Because everybody could say fear, but what's at the root of fear? I hope this was an inspiration around what's possible. Because by the way, my dad's formerly educated to grade 8, so he could say, well, there's a lot smarter people than me. And there was companies with 10, 100 times more money and more resources. But he had a dream and he never gave up. I thank God Nelson Mandela never gave up. Who thanks God that Nelson Mandela never gave up? I thank God Martin Luther King never gave up. I thank God that he never gave up. Even though he had death threats to his head every single day. You imagine walking around, going to Fortino's and look all day. But he had faith. That man was faithful and he knew his goal was bigger than him. Terry Fox had a great dream. I thank God. And how many dreams have been spawned, inspired by that one little race across Canada? Rosa Parks, the courage of her dream to defy the odds, to defy being jailed, to defy being labeled. And you know all the labels they got back then, nasty labels. And Einstein, right? You guys know I like Einstein and the creation of what he brought to the world. I thank God they never gave up. And a few all-hands meetings ago, I told you about Yeoming Park, right? She's a North Korean defector. She's one of my heroes. She defected from North Korea. What that means is she was smuggled out of North Korea with her mom, sold into the sex slave industry, later sold again, only to be sold to an undercover Christian organization who freed her. And now she lives, she lives in the U.S. advocating for strength and perseverance and never giving up. And she's probably 80 pounds, like literally and I got the pleasure to meet her. I thank God she never gave up and believed in herself. I thank God, right? And so this is a cool photo. So I always think to myself, if I was, by the way, show of hands, who's been to the Lincoln Memorial in the United States? Anybody? I'm going to tell you something. If you ever go to Washington, take a look at the Lincoln Memorial. It's incredible. It's where Martin Luther King stood up and said his speech to an estimated audience of 1 million people. And so there's this plaque on the floor where he stood. And obviously the podium's not there, but there was a podium. And if you watch the video, like, shut off Netflix tomorrow and watch the speech for 5 minutes. It's beautiful. Bring you to tears. And everybody, if you see, they're sweating. And there's 100 reasons why they shouldn't be there. It's hot. I'm tired. Is he talking so long? Am I going to get a shot in the face with a bullet? Like, tons of shit. But he didn't give up. He sat there and created probably one of the most iconic speeches ever written by a human on this planet. And it's iconic because he had a dream. That's it. I have a dream. How many of us have dreams that are locked up? Dreams that could potentially change the course of our life and the life of others who just don't want to take that leap because their fear of failure. They don't think they're good enough. The naysayers. I don't know what steps to take. And so I hope through this all hands meeting, folks, you got clear on one thing. Fear is this 4-letter word, right? And I thank God that John never gave up to give me a better opportunity. I thank God that he didn't stop. I thank God that we didn't stop on March 3rd, 2011. I thank God, because we wouldn't be here today. We wouldn't forge the relationships with Tanya and Lizette and Ross and Pierre and Sasha and Maria and Jennifer and David and Anthony and Brian and Ronnie in Atlanta and Jose and Memo and Tanya Santana. Who else? Peter and okay, Peter. I love you, Peter. But yeah, I thank God. I really do. So back to this morning. So just struck with an immense appreciation for what's possible. I hope you walk away today just being in appreciation just for living, for being here, for being alive, for your family. And maybe you're going to make that call and tell someone you can do it, or maybe you're going to take that one step. I hope this inspires you, because that's the meaning of this all hands meeting. It's very different than every other all hands meeting. And God put this on my heart, that it needed to be a message. And even if this message touches one person, and there are many watching today who I hope it touches, and I know who you are. I hope it touches you in your heart, because you're meant to do great things in this world. And so where do we go from here, right? Because today really is day one. Every day is day one, right? What's next? What's that journey going to look like? What's the new challenge? What's the new frontier? Here's what I'll tell you, and I'll make the same promise I did in 2011. I don't have all the answers, but I will incubate, I will create, and I will work very hard to uphold the values of our company so that we can work together to overcome whatever challenges are in front of us, because there's going to be many. But here's one thing I know. When you bring great people together, anything is possible. And I want you to know that from the bottom of my heart, that I'm sincerely thankful to all of you. I'm Tony Guerreri, signing off of All Hands Meeting 40, and may God bless you all. Thank you. Thanks very much.